Hello everyone, this is Gamer of Knowledge and More, Gamer of Knowledge, GoCam, or just Red if you want to go by my real name, back with another video. And today is a deck tag on Xenagos, God of Revels. He's a 6/5, he's a legendary enchantment creature god with indestructible, who costs 3 of any, a red and a green. And as long as your devotion to red and green is less than 7, he is not a creature. And at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and gets +X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. So, Xenagos is a really great commander, not only because he's one of the enchantment gods from Theros, who has indestructible, and is mostly an enchantment, but of his main effect that makes him unique in terms of the other gods. So today the deck is based around the fact that he makes someone stronger. So what are we gonna do for the round? Well, I'm going to do the same thing as I normally do. I'm going to show you 3 cards that help out in explaining and what kind of ramp we are playing. So first, I have Photon Fertility. What it does is that it costs a green, and for one of any and a green, you sacrifice it and you put a basic land from your deck into play tapped. So if you know Wayfarer's Bauble, it's essentially that as a green enchantment. Next is Sertal Druid. It's a Gruul mana dork. For you, those of you who don't know, Gruul is red and green. It's just terms, magic terms. So he taps himself to add a green mana to your mana pool. And whenever I tap him for mana, it deals 1 damage to each opponent. There was a way to make him go infinite, but I don't have it in this deck because if I did, then it would be an illegal deck because one of the other cards needed for that combo is in blue. But the other card I have is Goblin Anarchiomancer from Modern Horizons 2. What it does is that he makes each spell I cast that's red or green cost 1 less to cast. So it doesn't matter if you're red, green, or both. It costs 1 less. If only you said each spell you cast that's red costs 1 less, and each spell. If only it was worded, then the commander costs 2 less, but it doesn't. Next up, it is creatures. A couple of examples of what creatures I'm running to help support the attacking theme, the combat theme, I mean. So first is Canva Charioteer. For 1 of any and a Gruul, it's a 3/3 Jackal Warrior with Trample, and it gives other creatures you control have Trample. So that means it essentially says every creature you control have Trample. Next is Phosphate. For 3 of any and 2 green, it's a Snow Snake, and it gives attacking creatures you control Death Touch. And whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, you draw a card. So that combined with the previous card means that I would almost always be drawing a card. Next is Grand Warlord Water. It's a elf warrior that costs 2 of any, a red and a green. It has haste, so it can attack immediately. And whenever 1 or more creatures you control attack, you add that much mana in any combination of red and or green. Until end of turn, you don't lose this mana as steps and phases end. Next are some creatures that I have that are meant to be the targets of Xenagos' effect. So first, I have Hydra Omniform. For 4 Fenny and 2 green, you have a Hydra with power and toughness of 8. And whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. So, assuming you use Xenagos' effect on him, that means that you'll be attacking with a 16/16, and if you were able to deal combat damage, you're dealing 16 damage to each other opponent as well. So he's kind of like my go wide kind of creature. Now for a single hit, I have Hero's Bane, who's also a Hydra, but he comes in with 4+1/+1 counters. And by paying 2 of any and 2 green, you put an amount of +1/+1 counters on it where X is its power. So if I do it, right, combine it with the 3 creatures that would help with the cause, then that means with water, I can attack those monsters, creatures, or whatever you want to call it, get at least 2 green and possibly 2 red, however you want to do it, and use that 4 mana to increase its power. Lastly is Dracuset, More Flames. It has flying, it's a dragon, and costs 7 mana, which is 4 of any and 3 red. When it attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of up to 2 other targets. Next, it is some cards that can give me extra. I dropped the cards. There are cards that give me extra combats. So first is Combat Celebrant. He has, if it hasn't been exerted this turn, you may exert it as it attacks. When I do, I untap all other creatures I control, and after this phase, there's no combat phase. So when it's exerted, that means it won't untap during my next untap step. Next is Portwaiser, who whenever it deals combat damage to a player, I untap each creature I control. After this combat phase, there's no combat phase, but it can't attack a player that has already attacked. Lastly is Godo, Bandit Warlord. So when it enters the battlefield, I may search my library for an equipment card and put it onto the battlefield for my library. And whenever it attacks, for the first time each turn, I untap it and all samurai I control, and after that, there's no combat phase. So if you know Godo, you might. I'm just dropping everything today, guys. How embarrassing for me. So if you know Godo, you might know the next card is Helm of the Host. So it makes a token copy of a creature that's equipped to, except it's not legendary, so it goes on the legendary rule, and that token has haste. So combine it with one of the 3 extra combat cards means that I get infinite combats, meaning I get infinite Xenagos triggers. Next are some cards that can boost up my creature's power or give them keywords in some way. So first is Bamba. It gives enchanted creature +2/+2 and has whenever it attacks, you untap all lands you control. It also has totem armor, so you destroy it instead of destroying the creature. It's in here mainly because of Hero's Bane. Next is Sertal Druid. It basically has a ferocious type of effect where if you have a creature you control with toughness 4 or greater, get +2/+2 and gain vigilance until end of turn on the beginning of your combat phase. So with stuff like Hydra Omniform, it means it will be a 10/10 with vigilance. Next is Tamil Bow Rage, which has the ferocious ability. So first, it gives a creature double strike, And if you have a creature with power 4 or greater, it also gives it trample. So that combined with Hydra Omniform and Xenagos means that you're attacking with a 16/16, but it'll deal 32 damage, and you'll be dealing 32 damage to each other opponent. Next is Rhythm of the Wild, which makes your creature spells uncounterable, and it gives them riot, so they either get a +1/+1 counter or haste when they enter the battlefield. Endrace Forwardness is next, which is like, if you know the meme, Mum, we have this thing, no son, we have that thing at home, the thing at home, then this is like that for Queer of Behemoth. It gives creatures you control +2/+2, vigilance and trample when it enters the battlefield. Next, lastly, is Blackblade Reforged. It gives equipped creature +1/+1 for each land you control, and it has equip legendary creature 3 or equip 7. So you either pay 3 mana to equip it to a legendary creature, or 7 to equip to a non-legend. So that's all for the deck, guys. I hope you like it, and if you can, subscribe and ring the bell to get notified of future uploads. Next week I'll be talking about a potential upgrade to something in Yu-Gi-Oh! So if you don't want to miss it, ring the bell. Anyway, that's all for me, guys. You probably see the subscribe on the screen right now, but bye.